Welcome to the Science Plus Love Equals Cure podcast, the STXBP1 10-minute update. This is podcast number 17. I'm Charlene Sun-Rigby, president and co-founder of the STXBP1 Foundation and mom to STXer Juno and her big brother Luca. Today's topics: the American Epilepsy Society meeting recap, NYU Study on EEGs, the ENDD Symposium, and end-of-year ways to be involved. Our Science Plus Love Equals Cure podcast has been offline, unfortunately, for the last couple of months, as it's been an incredibly intense time. The second half of 2024 has been nonstop for STXBP1, from our summit in July to Awareness Month in September to our annual Move to Cure fundraising and community activation event. And members of our foundation have been representing STXBP1 at conferences, including Combined Brain and Global Genes in September, the ENDD Symposium at UPENN in October, and the American Epilepsy Society meeting in Los Angeles in December. We rounded out the year with a scientific meeting with the FDA just a couple of days ago on Friday. I'll give updates on AES and the ENDD Symposium meetings today, and I'll provide an update on the FDA meeting in our January podcast. All right, let's get to the updates. First topic, report from the American Epilepsy Society meeting. I provided some background on AES after the last annual meeting in 2023, so I'll be more brief here. The AES meeting is the largest meeting of doctors and clinical researchers focused on epilepsy in the US, and there are more than 5,000 attendees each year. This has been a long-standing important meeting for us, and it's exciting to see the fast-growing focus on rare epilepsies. AES is an important meeting for us because we're able to learn about the most up-to-date research. We're able to meet nonstop with the researchers, both academics and industry partners. And it's an opportunity for us to network with fellow advocacy groups in the rare neurodevelopmental space, as well as in the epilepsies. It's a 4-day conference that stretches over the weekend. And this year it was at the LA Convention Center. So we got in our steps with lots of walking. At the conference, our representatives were our scientific director, Jim Goss, board of director members, Melissa Hiyoko, Heather Jones, and myself. And we had scientific advisory board members, John Oldenhoff, Mike Boland, Ingo Helbig, and Ben Prosser. We also had researchers from ESCO at AES, Elena Gardella, Hannah Stamberger, and Gana Balagora. Getting to see Ben Prosser was a special treat because he has a new baby. STXer Lucy and her big brother Sam have a baby brother. Many thanks to mom Erin Prosser for holding down the fort while Ben presented his team's work on developing genetic therapies, specifically antisense oligonucleotide therapies, or ASOs, for STXBP1 related disorder and SYNGAP. Last year, I was excited to report that there were 13 posters presenting research on STXBP1, and this was up from 2019, where there were only 5 posters. This year, there were 19 posters presenting STXBP1 research. I like that trajectory. And it was also really exciting that the STXBP1 Foundation had provided some of the funding for the research behind these posters for 5 of the posters. So the posters included some of the first results from the STARR Natural History Study. There were also posters on STXBP1 research from industry partners, including Capsida and UCB. And there was an update on work on EEGs as a potential biomarker for STXBP1. Beyond posters and science presentations, we held multiple biopharma meetings, 9 biopharma meetings this year, and these were really lively exchanges, where we had important updates on therapy development work for STXBP1 and discussed how we can continue to collaborate and accelerate work. We had a busy information table for clinicians and researchers that was manned by our board members, Melissa and Heather, so thank you. We also represented the foundation at meetings, including the Rare Epilepsy Network and the Infantile Spasms Action Network, or ISAN. For a longer AES recap, please see Jim Goss's blog post on our website. And I cannot forget to talk about STARR. For our STARR Natural History Study for STXBP1, we held an in-person meeting of all the clinical sites and included a session for current and potential biopharma partners. This was on the Friday of AES. This was really thrilling to me, and I believe a lot others, because some of the first insights from the first year of patients were presented. Overall, the results look promising. So what we want to see in a natural history study that is preparing us for clinical trials is that the things that we are measuring in the study make sense for our population. We want to make sure that the measures capture something meaningful for our kids and for our families, which is why we designed the natural history study based on the symptom areas that are most important: development, cognition, communication, seizures, motor issues, etc. So from the data that had been analyzed so far, it looks like we're on the right track with the measures. And there was also some exciting emerging work on potential biomarkers. The biggest news is that 137 patients have been seen in the STARR study. This is truly astounding. When we meet with biopharma partners, they are very impressed at how quickly the study has recruited and that we are higher than our original target. Our original hope was to recruit at least 100 patients. STXBP1 Community, you blew it out of the water. Let me say that again. STXBP1 Community, you blew it out of the water. Now, if you haven't participated yet, there is still room in STARR for you. As I've said before, our goal is to have the best understanding of our STXBP1 population. So we need a broad cohort of our patients. Every STXer is unique, so it's really important that you participate. We now have 5 sites seeing patients, including Stanford, that saw its first patients in October. The fullest of sites is CHOP, Colorado Children's, Baylor, Texas Children's, Weill Cornell, and Stanford. Those are the sites that are currently recruiting. More information is on our website. A number of people from Europe have been asking whether they should come to the US for the STARR study. As I mentioned earlier, it was great to see several colleagues from the European STXBP1 Consortium, Elena Gardella, Hannah Stamberger, and Gana Balagora, and they joined us at the STARR meeting. We are collaborating to ensure that we keep the STARR and ESCO studies aligned. I'm excited that the ESCO study is close to launching. News updates will be on the ESCO website. All right, so after 4 days back at home, I still have warm excitement in my heart and a long list of to-dos for STXBP1. It was a great, great meeting. Please don't forget to check out Jim's AES blog post on our website. All right, second topic, NYU Study. The STXBP1 Foundation is working with the well-known neurologist Oren Davinsky at NYU on a new study to look at improving clinical care and clinical trials for seizures. If your child has had video EEGs and/or you can submit videos of seizures that have been captured on your cell phone or similar, you can participate. The videos will be used to better understand and identify different types of seizures. This is important in patient care and in clinical trials. You don't need to get the video EEGs from the hospital by yourself. NYU will help with that. So for this study, the STXBP1 Foundation collaborated with 5 other rare genetic epilepsies to provide the funding. And information is on our website on participating. Third topic, ENDD Symposium. The Center for Epilepsy and Neurodevelopmental Disorders, or the ENDD Center, is a joint center at UPENN and Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. The center is run by Ben Prosser and held its first scientific symposium at the end of October, and Jim Goss and I were able to attend. It was really fantastic to see all of the work. The END Center was only launched at the beginning of 2023, and we had a completely full day of 22 scientific talks, including flash talks on STXBP1 and SYNGAP, the two disorders END focuses on. There were also 13 scientific posters. We're hugely appreciative of the tremendous work of our collaborators at END. All right, fourth topic, end of year ways to be involved. We're in the last 2 weeks of December, and I hope everyone is able to get some time over the holidays, recharging and spending time with your loved ones. There is still time to be involved this year. 2 ways I'll suggest now. One of them is the census. Our Q4 STXBP1 patient census is open. If you haven't registered in the parent and primary caregiver list with our foundation or with your country association, if you're outside of the US, please do so now. We are so close to 1,200 patients. Help us get there. Our growing numbers give confidence to biopharma to continue to make investments in STXBP1. All right, second, donate. Our Be the Love campaign will run through the end of the year. Your financial support helps us to advance urgently needed research. You can go to give.stxbp1disorders.org. All right, let's call it a wrap for today, and I am looking forward to connecting with you again in January.